Hey, what's up everybody? This is going to be another video talking about my vinyl record collection. I got 4 new records in, and these were Christmas gifts just a few weeks ago. And here are the 4. It's going to be Creedence Clearwater Revival's Chronicle Volume 1, Weezer self-titled debut, Guns N' Roses Chinese Democracy, and Ace Frehley Origins Volume 2. Now, let's move into the first one here. Creedence Clearwater Revival. Now, this one I got from my brother and his wife. And this was an interesting one because I definitely do like this band, but I have not listened to their entire discography. I will admit that. And I don't know a lot about them. But I do, I have heard their hits, of course, and I definitely do like some of their songs. And honestly, I was introduced to them through video games and movie soundtracks, Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas. When I got this, I was just really caught off guard and surprised by it. This album was released in 1976. This is a remaster, and I believe he got it at Target. Now, when you open it up here, it comes with a poster, which is pretty interesting. I don't know if I've ever gotten a record that came with a poster like this, but it has the band members, just in front of some trees. The inside has a lot of information on it, plus a picture of the band playing live. These ones are the translucent blue color. My favorite songs on this record, as of right now, I would have to say it's going to be Green River, Unfortunate Son, and Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Have you ever seen the rain? I can notably remember that from The Longest Yard from 2005, Adam Sandler movie. That was one that I would probably say got me into that song. And Fortunate Son, I believe that one I heard numerous times. I think it was on Forrest Gump. And I know I got into it through that movie, I believe, during the Vietnam scenes and stuff like that. But yeah, Chronicle Volume 1 by CCR. Next is another interesting one. This is another one I got from my brother and his wife. This is Weezer's self-titled debut from 1984. This is a remaster, and this is one, I have to say, I'm more of a CCR fan than I am a Weezer fan at the moment. I'm not gonna lie with you guys. I have heard Weezer's most popular songs, but I'm not a huge fan of the majority of those songs, like Say It Ain't So, Beverly Hills, songs like that. I will say the song Buddy Holly, I do definitely like that song, and I have for a long time. My brother is the one who actually got me into that song. I believe he got it from Target as well. And this is the white marble color on it. Now this one doesn't come with too much. It's a pretty short album, just 7 or 8 songs. It also comes with a picture of just the guitars, the drums, the amps, and the microphones in the studio, just sitting there without any band members around it. My first ever CCR album, my first ever Weezer album. And yeah, let's move on to the third one. This one is one my dad got me. This is Chinese Democracy by Guns N' Roses. This is an original. It still had the Best Buy sticker on it and everything. And man, I could go on and on and on about this album. This is my all-time favorite Guns N' Roses album, and some people might be shocked to hear that, but I definitely know in my heart that it is. This album came out in 2008. It took around 15 years to make it. So many different lineup changes that they went through. So many producers, it's one of the most expensive albums ever made. So much anticipation for this album, and just delay after delay after delay. And finally was released in 2008. There was a lot of pressure to get it out, and miraculously it did finally. And this is definitely an imperfect album, and a lot of people consider it Guns N' Roses' worst album. But I love it from top to bottom. I mean, every single song I like. which is crazy. I mean, you don't really, I don't know about you guys, but there aren't too many albums out there where I can say that about. And don't get me wrong, I mean, there's a few songs here and there on this album that I'm not like huge fans of, but I can still find things that I really like about it. You know, for example, Riyadh and the Bedouins. As a whole, I don't think that's a great song, but Buckethead's guitar work at the very end is so cool, and it pretty much makes the song for me. I just love hearing that part at the end just because of Buckethead and the work he did. So basically, Chinese Democracy. Now, I remember seeing this album at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on vinyl, but this was years ago. I was not even into record collecting. I just thought it was cool to see. I didn't realize it was kind of a pain in the ass to find. I've been going to my local record shop and they've never had it, and it's never been reissued that I know of. And that's pretty much the reason why it's kind of hard to find. So my dad got it online, and it's not super expensive or anything. You know, the ones I see are around like $30 or so. So it's not like anything you're gonna have to break the bank for. It's very different Guns N' Roses album. There's no Slash, there's no Duff, there's no Izzy, there's no Steven, Matt. It's a lot of people characterize it as an Axl Rose solo record, which I kind of agree with that, but not really. I mean, there are a lot of talented, awesome musicians on this record. Like I said, Buckethead, you got Robin Fink, Bumblefoot, Richard Fortus. I'm not going to say Chris Pittman, but he's on there. You know, Brain on drums, such an awesome drummer. And man, if you look at the credits on this album, there's just so many people and so many different people that play different instruments and work different things, and it's just this album is a monstrosity. Really, really is. It's just a beast of an album. But in the end, I would say There Was a Time is my favorite song on it. The only real negative I'll say about this album is you would expect some more content in the actual album itself. Pretty much everything that you get with the vinyl comes with the CD in the booklet. So it's nothing too crazy, and you just would expect more, especially after around 15 years, like I said. One of the main reasons why it's my favorite Guns N' Roses album is also the nostalgia of it. Like, I just grew up in the 2000s when Guns N' Roses was becoming my favorite band, and there was so much hype around this album, and I just was waiting on edge all the time for it to come out. And you know, once it did, I listened to it a million times. So every time that I get new records, I always try to post them on my social media first. And one thing that I always do is I try to tag people in it that would be relatable to the record. And recently I've done that a few times on Airborne's Bone Shaker. I got Matt Harry Harrison tagged, and he actually saw it and he liked it. On Velvet Revolver's Contraband, I tagged Dave Kushner. He commented on it. On this Chinese Democracy one, I tagged Bumblefoot in it, and he actually liked it. So that was really, really cool. Finally, let's move on to Origins Volume 2 by Ace Frehley. Now, this one was released in September. This is his newest solo album. This is a covers album and part 2 of the Origins series. Origins Volume 1, I definitely thought that was an interesting album, and I do prefer Origins Volume 1 to Origins Volume 2. Now, I am a believer that you can't compare first albums to second albums, just like movies. You can't compare the first one to the second one. But in this instance, I think you can compare it just because it's cover albums. So I think it's more comparable. And it's not like it's just original material. And honestly, I think this album was kind of a disappointment for me. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a bad album or anything. But as far as the songs go, I wasn't super, super familiar with a lot of them. Good Times, Bad Times. That I like that one. I am a Led Zeppelin fan, and when I read that he was going to cover that song, I was immediately like, okay, I could 100% see him doing that, and it's a good cover. Other than that, the only other song I really like is Space Truckin'. I think he did great on that song, and that's one that he definitely really got me into it. I have heard the original growing up, but I never really thought too much about it. But now that I've heard his cover of it, it has definitely made me open my eyes to how great of a song that is, and I'm definitely a fan of both versions. There was so much promotion for this album that he did, like on his social medias and stuff, talking about the vinyl, talking about the CD, talking about this, talking about that. He was doing all this stuff exclusively at Target. Even my local Targets like didn't have anything related to it. They didn't have the CD, they didn't have the vinyl, they didn't know anything about it. So I'm just like, all right, well, that's fucking moronic. But after a couple of weeks, I'm like, okay, well, they gotta have it now. I called Target, they still don't have it. I called my record shop, they're like, yeah, like everyone else besides Target is gonna be getting it super late. So all in all, I tried numerous times to find this record and never could. Eventually, my local record shop finally got the CD in after weeks, but that was it. I mean, you would just think all the promotion that was done on social media that it would be easier to get, but it was a pain in the ass. I was just couldn't believe that. So that's why my dad got it for me for Christmas. I don't know exactly where he got it, but I assume he just got it online. And one thing I will mention about this album, the vinyl, is I think there is fantastic artwork all around with this thing. I mean, there is a lot to it. Like, the front cover, a lot to it, a lot of artwork. You open it up, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of, cool pictures and designs, and you just appreciate that as a vinyl buyer. And also the record itself is a colored vinyl. So basically I got three different colored vinyls. And yeah, also it comes with 2 cards that give you 2 digital downloads of the album if you prefer to do that. Not anything I would ever use. My Chinese Democracy actually has the digital download too. I'm just glad to have it in my collection. I just really wanted to get it because of it coming out and it being brand new, and I just wanted it in the collection basically. So yeah, he's actually working on some new material as I speak. Brand new original material. Cannot wait to hear that stuff. I am definitely a huge Ace Frehley fan, and other than that, that is pretty much all I have to say about these 4 new vinyl that I got. Super, super happy. The Chinese Democracy one is definitely my favorite. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys were interested. And I hope you guys can subscribe, comment, and like on the video. I would really appreciate it. I really do try to respond to every comment that I can. And I appreciate your guys' feedback and appreciate everybody that's subscribed and that is going to subscribe in the future, hopefully. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.